Hi guys, hi all. So what we are going to make one project wherein we are going to give stock data for last 3 years and also the PDFs wherein we have idea and we have text on what AI initiative and future ready ideas the company has. Based on these two information, our LLM project, our LLM model will try to figure out and rank all the organization based on uh, whether we should buy those stocks or not. So that is the project we are working on. So first, what is RAG? RAG is not letting LLM use the training data but use the data which we are providing, like the last 3 years stocks data and AI initiatives PDFs to the system, and the LLM model will then rank the organization. But the point here is that PDFs will be converted to embedding model, but the stock data will not be converted into any numerical data because it is already in form of numerical data. You got this point? So after we apply RAG, your LLM model will not only get the stocks data but also will be able to read the PDFs which are AI initiatives which are taken by multiple companies like Amazon, etc., Microsoft, Apple, and so on. So to create a RAG, what is the first thing we need to do? First thing is to install all the important libraries. So if you want to install all these libraries, you need to go to command prompt and run this command. If you are able to run it here, then it is fine, but if you face some issues, you can go to command prompt and from here you can do pip install and the library name which is required. In this case we have LangChain, LangChain Core, LangChain OpenAI, ChromaDB is a vector DB, LangChain Community, and PyPDF. PyPDF is already all the Python developers know is to get the PDF formats and to format all the PDFs using Python. We use PyPDF. ChromaDB is vector DB, LangChain Community, LangChain OpenAI, LangChain Core, and LangChain. All these are introduced to create APIs wherein we can connect with multiple models which OpenAI provides. So LangChain OpenAI, LangChain Community, and LangChain. If you have done this installation, then what you can do, you can use Y Finance's YF. So this is Yahoo Finance which we are trying to import. Matplotlib is the one which usually we use to create graphs, plots, etc. Pandas will always be there wherever there are data frames. So when data is coming in form of CSV, Excel, or any format wherein stocks data is coming in, so pandas will be helpful to get the tabular data. Then text splitter. So when we are creating and embedding using RAG, what we want is to split every particular document into multiple chunks, and the chunk will be kept in the vector DB. So we need a splitter. Splitter will decide on which particular protocols the splitting has to be done of all the text. Then we know about the PDF directory loader. So there are two things. One is a splitter. Split is like breaking up all the text data into multiple chunks, and those chunks into tokens, and then we will merge them into chunks. So that is done by splitter. Recursive character text splitter is based on as the name suggests, we are recursively, means we are looping over the characters in the PDFs, and then we are splitting it based on multiple delimiters like comma, full stop and spaces. It will try to create some meaningful splitting, but it will recursively loop over the characters. Now PyPDF loader, so PyPDF directory loader will load all the chunks into the ChromaDB vector DB. Chroma DB is the vector DB. So we are also importing that LangChain community.vector scores import. Now suppose we have these list of these companies: Google, Microsoft, IBM, Nvidia, Amazon, and we want to rank these companies. So first thing is to create an API. So how will you create an API? To create an API you need a connection, right? So you have to get one OpenAI API key and OpenAI API base. For that you have to go to that OpenAI website, get the subscription, and they will provide you the keys. Using that you can connect with the OpenAI and get the connection done, right? So what you are doing here, you are going to config file. Config.json is the file where I have kept my keys, and from there I am loading the details into these particular environment variables. os.environ, these are the OpenAI key, OpenAI base URL. Here I am trying to load. Now what I am doing here, what I am trying to do here is like to create connection with the LLM. So which particular model of like, since I have get this connection using the keys, I can now call chat OpenAI. So chat OpenAI is a function which we are importing, is a class which we are trying to import using LangChain OpenAI, and this is the model ChatGPT. GPT-4 mini temperature max tokens. This is the max token. This is kind of context path, context length. After that it should not be able to recall anything. Then top 5, top P, frequency penalty, stop sequence. These are the parameters which we pass while connecting with a chat OpenAI. Chat OpenAI class helps to get this connection with this model. So once you have get this connection after connecting with, so you are able to understand this particular part. Like first we are going to config.json. We are trying to create a connection using Open API key and OpenAI API base. Once we have these parameters in the OS params, we are trying to call chat OpenAI class, which is LangChain OpenAI package has this class. So we are trying to call this. When we are calling, we are telling which particular model we want to connect with what particular parameters. After that we are trying to visualize that which particular company is doing best. So for that we are using data frame. So you know that data frame can be depicted in form of plots or anything. You just need a matplotlib. We are keeping x level data, date, y label as USD. So what is the price? So we are keeping here. So you can see that Amazon is this one, purple line, then Nvidia, Google, all these can be easily graphed. So this is the normal Python code which mostly all developers know, that we are just trying to plot based on the closed data or the closing time. What is the data? That data will help us for last 3 years we are trying to create. So here we are looping over the companies, and symbol is nothing but the data which we are getting. right? So now we have got this. Now we are trying to create one more plot wherein it will show the market cap of all the organization and so on. So now comes what are we trying to create? LLM based query and response. So PDFs will be converted into the vector DB. Vector DB will have all the details. How it will have? Because we are converting it using RAG. Okay. So these are the PDFs where I'm getting all the AI initiatives which are zipped here. So I am getting from Amazon, Google, IBM, Microsoft and Nvidia. I'm getting all the PDFs here, and then I'm using recursive characters text splitter. So this is imported using text splitter package. We are trying to call TikTok encoder because we want to completely split based on this encoding. This is the chunk size and this is the overlap. Because why do we need a chunk size and why do we need a overlap? Because we want a particular context to be always maintained whenever there is a splitting done. Alright, so we are doing that. Then we are loading. So load and split will do two things. It will split also and it will load also. Loader and loader will be created. You check what loader is doing here. See this one. So PyPDF loader will have a path wherein we are keeping all the files and everything. So it will load and then it will split. From this particular path it will load and then it will split and it will keep into so here why we are doing vectorizations, because we need to know how much similarity all these files have, right? So once it is load and split, it is into AI initiative chunks. Now how we are going to keep them in the embeddings? So for that, OpenAI has OpenAI embeddings. This class we will use. Using this class we are going to pass the model also. So this is the model which we are going to use for embedding, text embedding ADA 002. Now from LangChain community vectors, import Chroma. What is Chroma? Chroma is the vector store, vector DB. We are trying to create a collection AI initiatives wherein we are passing AI initiative chunks which we have loaded and splitted. So those are the chunks here. Then embedding model which we have defined here from OpenAI embeddings, and then collection name. Collection name you can give anything, whichever name you want to give. Okay, now you have this Chroma has this collection name AI initiatives. Now your vector store is ready. Now we will retrieve. So as retriever, you can see here that as retriever is a function which is being called from vector store, and we are passing two things, search type and search quarks. Search type is based on similarity called, so basis on cosine similarity function, it will give you the embedding, and it will store the details, and because we have defined here no vector store. So this is the vector store. Yeah, so from vector store as its retriever, we are giving similarity in cog. So this is the value which should be picked from the chunks. So suppose you have 50 chunks, so out of those 10 will be picked, which will be of highest similarity with the corresponding query. Okay, you understood till here. Now we'll go towards retrieving documents. Okay, so we have created a retriever, we have created a vector DB from where we can retrieve, right? We have augmented as in we have attached using load and splitter, we have retrieved, and generation. So next thing is generating. How will you generate? So we have to use a query, user message. The user message is the user query. Suppose the user asks, give me best project that IBM is working upon. So in such case, we need to know what is the user message. So whatever the question we have is called the user message, the query which is being put to the LLM. Now retriever will invoke is in like calling the user message, and will also convert the query into chunks, right? So based on the user message, we are calling the LLM function and getting the relevant chunks, right? So when we get the relevant chunks, we are looping over that and creating a context list. Context is the most important part, because whenever there is a query, based on that query we are getting the relevant documents and we are looping over them, and that is called context list. And when we are joining them based on column, you can see here, we can also print here the context for query. You can understand here easily. So once it is run, we can see the context for query. So once it is created, okay, retriever is not defined because retriever cell we have not called, not as retriever is function, we are calling a different one here, retriever, right? Retriever. Yeah, we need to call this function because there's no vector storage, so we have to call from the first run all. It will show you how our context query looks. So wherever there's a circle, this clock, it shows it still has to be run. It is not yet running. It is in waiting state. The block of code is in waiting state, right? So we have to go where it is in running state. So I'm going up and checking. Okay, so it is taking a little more time. This is importing, installing all the packages, required packages, and after that we will import the necessary function from these packages, and then we will use them. I'll continue this lecture later on. Thank you.